Exercise 6. In these next few exercises, you're going to learn a little bit about a very important Photoshop element called masking. Masking is an extraordinary development that lets you put pictures together. Now to do this, let's going to start with, we'll open the pictures from exercise 6. And we're going to get both of these opened, the family and the mountain scene. And separate them. Okay, in this instance, well, we've got a family here on the beach, but we want them to think the family had gone to the mountains instead. So we're going to move this family into the mountain scene. So let's start off by clicking on the mountain scene, and I'm going to get the move tool, and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to pull it over onto the other picture. Now while I do this, I'm going to hold down the shift key, and then I'm going to drag it over here. Now what holding down the shift key does is it makes the pictures line up. So I can now turn this mountain scene off. We got the pictures here. Now in this case, I want to move the family into the mountains, so let's put the family on top by moving the layers down. We'll put the family up on top. Now down here in the corner, you'll notice this little square, dark square with the circle in it. That is the mask. So let's turn on this layer 1 and let's add a mask to it. Now this mask, you'll notice, is a clear white area, but the mask is unique. Whatever we paint on this in black is going to disappear, and it's going to show the mountain scene behind. Whatever we paint on it in white is going to show the family scene in front. To do this, let's give you a quick display here. We're going to get the elliptical marquee tool. I'm going to create a marquee here around the family, and we'll move that over a little. I'm going to go up here to select inverse. So now what I've selected is all this area out here rather than the family, and then I'm going to fill that with black. Now remember, what I'm actually painting on is the mask, not the picture. So when I fill that with black, and you'll notice there it is, the white picture disappears and you can see the mountain from behind. Okay, let's undo that. We'll undo the fill. While we're still holding on to this, I'm going to show you another element here. Select, modify, feather. Now on a lot of the newer versions, feather is separate from modify. It's still under the select area, but you don't have to go to this sub-menu. I'm going to choose feather, and we're going to set it at 50. Now what feather does is soften these edges, and it causes it to blend one from the other. So it's going to blend from black to white over 50 pixels. So we'll click that. Then I'm going to go back here again, and we're going to add that. We're going to fill, and we're going to put the black in. We'll deselect that, and you'll notice it's softening the edges in around here. Okay, so far it's not really very convincing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into image, and we're going to go into apply image. I'm going to go in here, set the family as the source, which we've got, but now let's go under here as the channel, and I'm going to pick alpha 1 as the channel. We're going to click OK. Suddenly you'll notice it's much more convincing. Now this is a nasty trick here. When I was learning this, I did this and I thought, wonderful. I went in and tried it on other pictures. Didn't work at all. There's a reason for that. They didn't have alpha channels. The alpha channel is something you have to create. They didn't mention that when I was learning these things. That's one of the problems we had with some of the Photoshop techniques when they're learning. They put things in that they don't explain to you. But I'm telling you right now, this won't work if you try it with other pictures because you don't have an alpha channel. The next exercises you'll learn how to create them. But for now, what you're really trying to understand is the mask itself. So we've added the alpha channel. You'll notice over here, you've got this white area where the family is, black all around them. So we've got this much more convincing. But let's go in and enlarge here. You'll notice you still got this halo around it, problems here where they're sort of fading into the background. So now we need to go in and do a little bit of fixing with that. Going to get a brush, going to select a brush, get the size we want. Make sure we got white. Remember, white is going to show the family, black is going to show the background. And then you'll notice I'm on the mask here. It has the larger frame around it, which means I'm painting on the mask. I don't want to paint on the picture. Then it'll show up as white. Here, the mask itself doesn't show. It's only going to show either the picture behind or the picture in front. And I'm going to go in here, and let's get the opacity up to 100. And I'm going to begin painting the child back in so that the tree is not faded over him. We can begin painting him in here. Now the unique thing with masks, it's very interesting. You can't make a mistake. If you paint something you don't want, all you do is reverse colors and paint it back out. In this case, I'm going to now go to the black, and I'm going to start getting rid of this white halo around him. This little bit of feathering. And up in here. So we begin to paint them in the way we want. Now I'm going to hold down the Shift key, which is going to give me this little hand. I'm going to move the picture over to the next part, and then I'm going to go in and start painting here. Start with black to get rid of some of this feathered area. Now say, whoops, painted too much? Not a problem. Reverse and paint it back. Masks are marvelous things. You really cannot make mistakes. Let's get up in here. Now before I simply paint his head back in, I actually think this is rather nice. He's tall, he's coming through, and the trees are coming down in front of him. Looks more real that way. So I'm going to go in here, black, and I am going to bring those tree leaves in sharper. So it looks like he's sort of walking through the trees here. And on this side, I'm going to paint that out a little. You can change sizes of the brush when you need to. Now this is a relatively slow process. You just have to go down and paint the areas in. Whoops, he's missing a leg there. Let's go to white. Get the brush a bit larger, and we'll put his leg back in. Don't worry that we're painting too much and getting that white. We'll now shift color, go to a smaller brush, and we'll go in and get rid of that halo around it. Now masks are one of the most useful things that Photoshop has created. They let you do a lot of correcting of a picture They let you put more than one picture together. They let you get rid of edges that are showing up. For example, this halo we're getting around it. Or when you put a picture together and it has too sharp of an edge, you can go in and soften it down. You can use hard brushes, which will give you a very hard edge. I prefer the softer brushes, which give you a nice soft edge. Again, you cannot make a mistake, because if you do too much, you just have to reverse the color and put it back. Let's see, we'll go in here and just again begin to get rid of some of these things. Now a little later, when you learn how to make the alpha channel, you notice the more detailed the alpha channel is, the less you'll have to paint in afterwards. And as long as they're still black, we'll get rid of some of these white areas around here before we put his head back. Now, while we're doing this, for those of you who would like to, you can actually just watch what's happening on the mask over here. It's a small thumbnail, so you may not be able to see much, but what it's literally doing is it is painting on that mask in either white or black. Those are the two colors you get. So now we put his head back in solid. And you can just again keep moving around, push down the space bar to get the hand, move the picture down to your next place, begin painting it out. Now in this, as we get down to the legs, there is a slight problem in that while you've got sun shining on the legs, if you paint it all out, he's suddenly likely to have very skinny legs through here. So you may have to leave a little highlight as you're getting into it, sort of around the edges. Now also here you'll notice this very rough edge. We can soften that down. A little too much there, reverse it. Bring it back in. But you can begin to sort of soften this area down, leaving a little bit of highlight here. If you're wondering what you're doing, go back up here to View, Fit on Screen. You can see the whole picture. Then you can go back into Enlarge again. The real problem is going to be here with his legs. If we painted out all the white, you'll notice he just has sticks. So you have to leave some highlights there. Again, down here when you get to his feet, he's walking through the leaves, not on top of them, so paint some of the leaves back in, like he was kicking them up. And same thing, we're going to smooth those edges out. You can do this with much more detail and care for it as you're doing, but what you're doing is now you're putting the pictures together, making two of them. And you're making them look like they were one picture. So you don't want him just standing on top of things. You actually want to paint them into the scene. And then these problems here. And here's just sort of judgment of how much you leave. and how much you're sort of going to pretend is highlight coming through. If you decide it doesn't look good, you can go back, shape it up a little bit. And you just keep working these back and forth between black and white until you've got it all carefully painted back in. So you've now been able to move the family from the beach into the mountains and to create a relatively good picture where it looks like it's real. The more you practice with masks, the better you'll get at it, until you can actually get to where you can't tell the two images were ever separate pictures. But this is something you'll practice at. In the next few lessons, you're going to learn how to create alpha channels and some of the other things the masks can do. Okay, now go in. As you flatten this image, you'll flatten it. When you go in to save it, so you'll do it File, and we'll come to the Save. Well, we'll go to Save As because we don't want to accidentally save it. You'll notice it comes up as a Photoshop file. If you try to save it as a JPEG file, here, it's going to give you these warning signs and tell you it has to be saved as a copy. The reason for that, the alpha channel is still in here. So if you go to Channels, you'll be able to see it. Flattening the picture does not get rid of the alpha channel, and alpha channels have to be saved as Photoshop. So you either have to save this picture as a Photoshop file, or if you're going to save it as a JPEG, you have to save it as a copy. In other words, the copy which will eliminate the alpha channel. Go to JPEG, flatten it, and save it as a copy to your file.